Today we're diving into one of the most important parts of the European regulatory framework, the technical screening criteria. These criteria are the key players in the EU's climate taxonomy. Let's take a moment to think about the challenges some businesses face. Certain activities, just by their nature, can have a big impact on the environment. But when these businesses make improvements, they can really help us reach our environmental goals. That's where our main players come in, the technical screening criteria. These criteria help us figure out if a business is doing a lot better for the environment than others in the same industry. But they do even more than that. They help us avoid what we call harmful lock-in effects. These are things that could keep pollution levels high for a long time, especially when we're giving money to a business. Thinking about the long term is super important when we're using these criteria.
Weighing the good and the bad. One of the most important things we have to think about is finding a balance between the good and the bad. The rules are clear. We can't call something good for the environment if it hurts nature more than it helps. The technical criteria have rules for making sure we don't hurt the environment in other ways, and these rules are based on laws in the European Union. When the European Commission makes or changes these rules, they have to use science and think about the whole life of a product or business. If the science isn't clear about a risk, we follow the precautionary principle, which is part of Article 191 of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union. When it comes to climate change, these criteria should help us move towards an economy that doesn't hurt the climate. This means not only using clean energy, but also supporting businesses that pollute a lot less than others, as long as they don't get in the way of even cleaner options, or use things that are bad for the climate. The rules also talk about something called enabling activities. These might not directly help the environment, but they make it possible for other businesses to do good things. These activities need to be good for the environment overall, considering their entire life cycle. These criteria aren't made in a bubble. The Commission has to think about existing rules, ways of categorizing environmental industries, and international standards. They also have to consider the unique qualities of sectors like infrastructure and how they affect other things, looking at the costs and benefits carefully. Fairness is a big part of these criteria. They have to make sure that similar businesses are treated the same way if they're helping the environment equally. Even though different industries can help in different ways, the criteria shouldn't be unfair to any of them. It's also really important that these rules are realistic and can be put into practice. The Commission needs to make rules that are clear, easy to follow, and can be checked without costing businesses too much money or time. Transportation is a big deal here. It makes up almost 26% of greenhouse gas emissions in the EU and needs about 30% more investment to become sustainable. The criteria need to work for this industry, even though things are always moving. The Commission gets help from the Platform on Sustainable Finance, a group of experts from different areas, to develop these criteria. This platform gives advice on creating, studying, and changing the criteria. And they look at how these rules might affect the value of environmentally friendly businesses. The Commission also gets advice from a group of experts from different EU countries. They focus on sustainable finance and help make sure the criteria are appropriate. To make the rules very specific, the Commission has the power to make decisions according to Article 290 of the Treaty on the Functioning of the European Union. When making these decisions, it's important to talk to the European Parliament and the Council to make sure everyone is on the same page. So, even though these technical screening criteria might seem kind of technical, they're a really important part of the EU's climate taxonomy. They set the rules for how we decide which businesses are good for the environment, and that will shape how we invest in a sustainable future for Europe. If you have any questions, ask our AI Atenea. Complex questions, expert answers. Find out more at ilpabogados.com and ilpstartup.com.